How meta.
You know what doesn't make a whole lot of sense is what I'm gonna do today, guys. How you doing? It's Mike over here, and I'm joined by...
You playing that Battle Royale Tetris game?
Yes.
Yeah.
100 items enter, and only one will leave.
That doesn't make sense. It's true.
No, that is what I'm about to do. Hey, Joe's here.
I'm here. It's true. Can't stop me. Can't get rid of me now.
Kurt's here.
As much as we'd like to. We
I
can't.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric is here.
I'm playing Tetris. I'm not here.
Coffee is not here.
I'm also playing Tetris.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Coffee's in a left-leaning L shape.
Yes. I'm going to play just a little bit of the combination Link to the Past Super Metroid randomizer.
Taco Bell, Pizza Hut.
Yes, I'm at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell on Zeus.
I'm at the
Uh-huh.
So
I'm at the Taco Bell.
no, we all know Joe. We all got it. So randomizers are no new thing, right? We know what randomizers are. Take a game,
Yeah, there
you
was
mix
one
it
in
all.
Resident Evil 2 on the N64. It's credited as being the first one.
Is
Apparently.
it?
That's what people tell me.
Weird. Okay. That's kind of timely considering all the Resident Evil stuff that's been happening lately. Anyway, so I'm not doing that. What I am doing is this one, which doesn't randomize one game up, it randomizes 2 games up at the same time. And that's really weird. This thing has been out for, I don't know, like 6 months maybe, but as far as I'm aware, they've been updating it, and the most recent build is updated like in December or something like that. And yeah, it takes 2 great games and makes them taste great together, or not, depending on how things go, because it's random. And as it turns out...
And sometimes it's really bad and it sucks and it's not
Well,
fun.
kind of, yeah. No, your enjoyment is not guaranteed.
Sometimes you're playing Super Metroid, other times you're playing Double Dragon 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna have more fun than Eric did on the stream that kind of crashed. I got a missile. Alrighty. Yeah, so the thing is, this game is semi-smart in that you're not able to... Oh wait, no, I should go back down. You can't completely get screwed over. They're actually like hard and normal variants of the Metroid logic, and the normal one requires you to know a lot about Metroid, but you don't have to do the really crazy stuff. And the hard version requires you to be able to do basically any trick in the book, like running Meridian with no gravity suit and, I don't know, doing all sorts of really unpleasant stuff. But I don't have that turned on because I'm not that good at this game. But you do have to know how to wall jump and shine spark, and it certainly helps to know how to do some stuff. Oh, there's no... I thought there was a missile door over there.
Why? I'm just seeing the Nintendo logo. Am I the only one who's just seeing the Nintendo logo?
Yeah, that's all I see.
Well, that's annoying. Okay, that means that this is not the right kind of capture for this window.
Oh, no.
But now you're seeing it?
No,
I'm still just seeing the Nintendo
Okay.
logo. So this is actually a Super Metroid Link to the Past randomizer. Is that right?
That is, yes. That's the thing that I said.
Yes. Well, people have described it, and you described it earlier as Metroid and Zelda, which I assumed meant NES Metroid and NES
Yeah,
Zelda.
no, sorry. I guess I took a little bit of a shortcut there. This is frustrating. I had it working not long ago. Let me clear out my old settings here. Move that one.
Mm-hmm.
Are we having a good night for streaming or what?
Hell yeah.
This is just, man, it's killer.
We ruined all our goodwill with the streaming gods during Extra Life because we somehow managed to do that.
Almost nothing went wrong.
Yeah,
It's true, actually.
it
Kind of
was-
amazing.
It was ridiculous, honestly. I'm surprised that we made it.
Okay.
Well, hey, did you guys watch that Nintendo Direct?
I did.
Yeah.
That was also
Yeah.
weird. It's just a lot of weird stuff happening today in games.
Hear me out
I'm
for a
surprised it took this long to get to Mario Maker 2.
What
Go
if-
ahead, Coffee.
Alright,
What
it
if-
should be showing up. Let me know if the stream starts to work soon.
What if 100 players were playing Super Metroid,
Uh-huh.
and every time you found an item, you knock
Yeah,
somebody
it's
out, so there's
showing
one
correctly
back.
now, Mike.
Okay, great. You guys didn't miss anything. I had gotten nowhere, basically. Sorry, you were talking about obliquely about the weird Tetris Battle Royale game that just came out,
Yeah.
Just came out today.
like this afternoon. That's great. I love it. Why not?
Why not? I'll tell you why. Because this is Tetris. This isn't that new bullshit Tetris where you can like infinite spin and T-spin and all that garbage. This is fucking Game Boy Tetris.
It looked like you could
This is
kind of
Tetris.
Really? You can't. I
It's
thought the
NES
rules
Tetris.
with for any.
It's NES Tetris with T-spins and holds.
So you can.
Yeah, you can do hold and you can do some. There is no infinite spin though, which is nice. It feels more like Tetris to me than the more recent Tetris games.
Didn't you put Tetris Effect on your top
Yeah.
10 games of the year?
That's great.
Grudgingly.
No, it's a great game, but it
then
ain't Tetris.
Yeah, Tetris 99 came out.
But yeah, this is Tetris, and you play it against a lot of other people at the same time. It's pretty simple. Also, it totally justifies the $20 I gave Nintendo for my online subscription.
Did you accept my friend request, by the way? Since we weren't already friends on...
I have no idea. I think so, yes. But so there's that. There's Mario Maker 2, which I guess we don't know that much about.
I mean, it has slopes, right? It has slopes and cattails.
I mean,
So-
that's big, right?
And auto-scrolling levels.
I'm sure nobody in this stream knows that I work for Nintendo.
Uh-huh.
They always do an in-store showing of the directs on the big
Yeah.
screen. And I thought I was gonna go deaf when they showed slopes during Mario Maker. I've never seen people so fucking excited about slopes.
It's a big deal, man.
They didn't show worlds, did they? Like maps?
No.
That's
There's
what I thought they really needed.
There's enemy pathing that you can do. So like you can actually set enemy movement in certain directions.
There's also auto-scrolling levels, which I am not. super
There's auto scrolling
excited
in different
about.
directions now, like it's not linear. You can go up and down now.
Huh.
I just want to point out that so I started this game out in Metroid, Super Metroid, the way that you do, and all I got instead of
Is that always the way that you do? Is that always
that is the way that you do. You start in Metroid, and I got a morphing instead of a morphing ball, I got a pack of missiles, which is kind of nice, but not really very useful. So now I'm making my way back up to the map room of Metroid, and when I go into the map room in Materia, it spits me out in Link to the Past. And so I'm here with nothing, just a naked Link running around. So I'm going to go scope out a couple of early items that I can get by heading to the castle and going where the uncle normally gives you the sword. Oh, I think there's an item in Link's house that I should go grab. So one of the things with this randomizer is that you can't really do anything in Metroid until you get the Morph Ball. And they do make a point, I think, of making it show up relatively early in the items that you can pick up. Oh, super missiles. There you go. No Morph Ball, but I got super missiles.
Making some progress now.
I actually can't. You can't really get anywhere if you don't get at least some kind of bombs or the Morph Ball. I'm guessing if you had bombs and no Morph Ball, you couldn't even use them, so that wouldn't be very useful either. So you're almost guaranteed to do a little bit of Zelding at the very beginning of your session because you need to get your basic stuff. So there's a lot of items you can get by just running around the early parts of Zelda, like in the town and in the Hyrule Palace.
Yeah, there's a ton of chests that are easy to find and get your hands on.
And they can be anything, so, who knows? But there's a couple of really basic abilities that you're expected to get at the beginning of these games, and if you don't get them, then life gets weird. But I got another set of missiles from my uncle, which is not especially useful right now, because I already have some. Sneak by these guys. Anyway, carry on talking about all the weird stuff that was in the Nintendo Direct. I just got more
They
missiles.
dedicated
Oh,
like
I
10
was
minutes
muted.
to freaking Fire Emblem.
I'm
I mean,
so
that's
tired
the-
of Fire Emblem. I just don't
That's like the
care.
next big cool thing that's coming from them, though, right? Is the new Fire Emblem. So
No, Mario Maker 2
Yeah, I
is
was
the
gonna
next cool
say.
thing that's coming from them. What do we just...
Fire Emblem will sell more, I'm sure. There's got to be some reason why they make a billion of these games, right?
So we got some stuff going on here. Sky Reynolds says one of the best Super NES openings. I assume they're referring to the Super Metroid opening, which is
That's a great opening, but you don't see it when you play this ROM hack.
I mean, the Link to the Past opening where it's all rainy and
You don't see that one either.
save your uncle.
No, I think they were talking about like when you get the pan over the like desiccated lab at the, before.
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
Tables.
Oh, well, you do. Okay, yeah, you get the
Saw that.
pre-start button stuff, but it cuts the intros out of both games because there's not
Right.
anything really random there.
So yeah, people are weirded out and kind of impressed by what they're seeing. Is this a romhacking.net thing, or where does one get this?
If you look up Super Metroid Link to the Past crossover, it will pop up pretty quickly. You have to provide your own ROMs. They don't do that for you, which makes sense.
All right. So
and you have to
like
provide very specific versions of the ROMs. Okay, there's a missile in the little hedge maze over there, so I don't care about that. I make my way up to the town. Yeah, the first time that I walked out of a Metroid room and into Link to the Past, it did feel kind of magical. Kind of that same way that the first time that I lifted up my Switch off the dock and started playing Breath of the Wild handheld, it was just like, what? You can't do that. It does get to be, it wears off pretty fast. It's a really cool trick, but it's kind of the only one.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. The randomizer bug hasn't bitten me in the way that it seems to have bitten a lot of other folks. Like, I don't know.
You have to really want to get to know a specific game very well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if there was a thing that did some sort of weird, like, Contra randomizing, but how do you randomize that except choosing the weapon drops?
I mean, you'd need like a multi-Contra game randomizer, like maybe something that, something
Like,
that can
is
bring in
Contra
weapons or
Super
characters
C
or enemies from different games and things like that and mix them all together. I don't know how you actually make that work.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I've thought about trying the Resident Evil 2, the official one, which was in this N64 version, which only randomized. All it does is randomize, I think, some of the enemy placements and all the non-key items. So, like, where bullets are,
Okay,
where
bullets
are,
where... Okay, so you might get a bunch of weapons early on.
Right, but all the stuff like the crests and I believe, are all in the same place where they, normally would be. So.
This is a really brutal start that I'm getting here. I've gotten nothing but missiles and heart pieces. Okay, I got the mirror and an energy tank. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with any of this. I don't even have a single bomb. If I get a couple more rupees, I'll be able to afford to buy some bombs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this stuff is cool for people who are into it. I just,
I think in games like this, it's pretty fun because it gives you these weird combinations that would never occur naturally, where you're playing Super Metroid and you've got, no bombs, but you have the screw attack. And one thing that happens a lot is that you get power bombs, but not regular bombs. There are 10 power bombs and only one regular bomb in the game.
Are they like jackknife power bombs, or? Because I think those have been made illegal.
Please don't judge me for forgetting how this room was done.
Eric, they were fining people, $50,000 per jackknife power bomb.
I did get some power bombs, and then I screwed up the chests in this room. The trouble that I have with this randomizer is that I'm way better at Metroid than I am at Zelda. I've played this game through a few times, but I don't remember everything.
Damn.
There you go. That's what I was supposed to do.
I got second.
Second?
Wow.
That's pretty good. Okay,
Pretty
I got
good.
the fire rod. That's an interesting early get.
So, what do you guys think about the Link's Awakening?
Looks really cute.
It does look really nice.
It looks like it's the exact same game.
I hope they make that overworld map a little bit easier to get through, because it's kind of a pain in the ass to like constantly have to solve puzzles and backtrack to different locations and stuff.
So I saw a ton of people on Twitter and stuff today after the Nintendo Direct talking about how that's their favorite Zelda and they love it so much. And I
it's the weirdest Zelda, that's for sure.
It's not weirder than Majora's Mask, is it?
But no, I don't know.
I think it is, because there's a bunch of like Kirby and Goombas and Wart and stuff. Like, it's weird for
pet chain chomp.
Yeah, there's like a lot of weird shit in that game.
But it I don't know, the inaccessibility of the world map and having trouble fully understanding that, and the fact that like I know it's the same to a certain extent in the game you're playing right now, where you have to change your items kind of frequently, but this game had more buttons available to do more. Like it's been a while since I've played.
So I will say, Link to the Past actually makes really bad use of the controller. Link to the Past doesn't use either of the shoulder buttons for anything, and it's really frustrating because, if nothing else, put like bombs on one of them, because you use bombs all the time.
Right, right. But you don't have to like switch out your Pegasus boots, right? Like once you get them, there's just a button.
Yeah,
for
there
dash,
is a
right?
button for the Pegasus boots, but that's it. Like,
Well,
you have-
sure, but you get the Rock's Feather and the Pegasus boots in Link's Awakening, and if they're not equipped, you just can't use them. So, and then if you
Right.
want to like jump a long gap and you have to use them both, you have to unequip your sword to do a running jump to get over
Yep.
a long gap, and like that stuff just. It seems like a minor thing, but after like hours of that, it just starts being like, this is so frustrating to constantly have to be rotating what I have equipped.
I'm 100% sure that
having
they will
fun.
address this in the remake.
Right, right. Which is why I'm looking forward to the remake, and also, like you said, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I think they look kind of like a Lego sort of, or Duplos. You know, so.
Okay, this apparently you can get the map for the escape from the palace dungeon sanctuary. That sucks. Don't need that.
I mean, it totally randomizes all the items, right?
It does not totally
For
randomize
things
them,
that
no.
are
Maps.
things that gate your progress, right?
It's actually smarter than that. So like maps and keys and stuff will generally be kind of in the dungeon that they belong to.
Generally,
I didn't think that I was in that dungeon, so
right.
that was an unpleasant discovery to make.
Yeah,
I was trying to think if there's any game that I've played enough where it would make sense for me to play a randomizer, but I don't think there are.
I think it would have to be a
Honestly.
Resident Evil game.
I'm
Like Resident
too-
Evil 1, I could probably do. Or the,
Yeah, I'm too much of a
Resident Evil
dilettante.
4.
Get yourself
Yeah.
a kid that wants to see you play the same game every day for 3 weeks in a row, and then you'll start to.
Be like, no,
the
kid,
nitty-gritty
I'm not
on-
playing. I'm playing something else. You're gonna have to. You're gonna love it, baby.
What if
Uh huh.
they put you in a lobby with 99 other people?
Uh huh.
You got randomized to Trump nose,
Uh huh.
and the more people you knock out, higher in rank you go.
Uh
That
huh.
doesn't.
The more missiles you get for Samus,
Yep, you get more missiles for Samus for every Tetris.
Are there Mega Man randomizers? I feel like there are.
there are some, but I don't know if they're any good.
You cover the screen with paper and you pick a robot master.
Yeah, right. You randomly. Except I know where all they are, and the ones that I'm familiar with, I know where they. Like that could be interesting to do. You know, if they randomize the robot masters and stages from all the NES Mega Mans into one. You know, not into one, but like into an 8 random robots from all 6 of the NES Mega Mans. Like that could be interesting, I guess. I don't know.
Oops, I died. You can die, it's no problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
You beat Fireman, you get Electman's weapon.
That would be weird. You face Fireman and Iceman stage.
Yep.
I mean, they do stuff like that, I think, and like they randomize the weaknesses and things.
Yeah. That could be interesting, I guess. But if the weaknesses are randomized, that removes the strategy, right? Because now I don't know what.
I mean, it's again, randomizers totally change things up, and the strategy kind of comes from knowing enough about the game that you can try to piece a new strategy together when the logical one doesn't work.
Right, but I feel like in a Mega Man game, the strategy on the first robot master you face is always going to be, you know, use the Buster because you don't have a
Bomb.
choice.
I got a bomb.
And then I feel like the backup strategy for everything just becomes use the Buster because you may or may not have the weapon that's a weakness because the weakness is
Right.
random.
That's fine.
I mean, there's a reason why I don't play the Mega Man randomizers, and it's going to sound very interesting to me.
Alright. I mean, it is fine, Eric, I guess, but then, like, I could just do, if I wanted to do that challenge, I could just, like, do a Buster only run of whatever.
All right. Well, nobody's trying to talk you into playing a Mega Man randomizer, so.
Well, sure, fair enough.
I think the reason that
was there
I
anything?
started this one in the first place is because it was so weird. I think,
Yeah.
like, it was really weird, and I thought it was interesting. I tried it last year, and I found it really, really hard. Because, like, if you get power bombs in Metroid but no regular bombs, then you have to really be very careful about where you use them, because you can run out and you can get yourself soft locked by going into places and then having a bomb left to leave them. And that was not a great experience, but then I played a whole bunch more Metroid, and I'm a lot better at it than I was before, and I know where stuff is. So I thought I'd give it another try.
So it doesn't randomize the maps at all. The maps.
No, the maps are the maps, yeah. But you have no idea what you're going to get where for the most part. Except that in Zelda, you know that inside a dungeon, you're still going to find all the keys and the map and the compass for that dungeon somewhere.
Right.
was very excited that I had a bomb. I wanted to go and blow up a wall.
You've been in Zelda for a long time. When
I
does it just
can't go back
change
to
at random?
I can't go back to Metroid until I find the Morph Ball.
So does it control when you go back and forth, or do you control when
You
you go
control it by going into the fortune tellers in Zelda.
Right. Mike's just saying that there's no point in going back to
back?
Metroid.
Right.
I won't be able to leave the little intro area. Oh, great, more rupees, thanks, super. But I got enough money.
Hey, you got a blue rupee.
Yeah.
This is worth 5 rupees.
I have enough money now that I can buy some bombs, which means I can go check out some caves that have a bunch of chests in them.
This was before Zelda was bad, Kurt. You stopped that.
They also took out all the stuff like that is in this game. And whenever you pick up an item in Metroid, you just get it fast. You don't have to sit through the song.
But I like the song.
Song is different than irritating explanation that you already know.
Explanation text that you already
Hey,
Yeah.
listen.
Hey, look.
Hey! Hey!
I could get an item in that bar by playing the flute for one of the dudes. Thing. Why is there a shop in here? This doesn't look like a shop at all. What else came out of that Nintendo Direct that is...
I'm trying to think. There's
Do
a
you
Fire
want to play
Emblem
a
stuff.
Disney game with some weird Disney toys that look like sausages? Because that.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was.
That's not like
Seems like it's a
Puyo
mini
or
game
something.
collection. No, it's like a mini. It's like a weird mini game collection thing.
Okay, sounds good.
It's weird. Nexus Creed wants to know our thoughts on Link's Awakening for Switch. I would invite you to rewind this stream.
About 10 minutes, yeah.
It looks good. I'm excited. That's a
I'm
game
stoked.
that deserves an updated version with some better menus and like maybe some fixes.
Yeah,
to
quality
the
of life
way the
improvements.
overworld map works. But that is an incredible achievement on a Game Boy, and I'm really looking forward to an updated version of it.
I wonder if the weird color matching dungeon from Link's Awakening DX will be in it.
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, it did say Link's Awakening and not Link's Awakening DX, so
It's true. It's true.
No, maybe not.
But,
Maybe they assume nobody's going to know what that is anyway.
yeah, that's
Possible.
also possible. They,
Oh,
Why not?
there was stuff in
They
here.
would choose not to make to distinguish.
I feel like they announced a lot of multi-platform stuff. Like, I feel like did we already know that Bloodstained was coming to the Switch? I thought we already knew that.
I think that was announced when they canceled the Vita port, wasn't
The
it?
Vita version, yeah.
It was like, hey, by the
That's
way,
what I
we're gonna
thought
put
too.
this on the console people own and play.
I guess the big reveal was that it's coming out in summer. That they finally like set out release window for that.
Oh, I got the Titans Mint or the Power
There's
Glove.
some free Captain Toad DLC, and
Wait,
also
what?
some paid Captain Toad DLC.
The first part of it's free.
Yeah, the
They had
two-player
co-op.
There's a co-op
is
mode,
free.
yeah.
There's co-op, yeah.
Oh. I am psyched for this.
And then there's paid five worlds
Yep,
expansion.
something like
Sold.
So,
Take my money.
yeah, that's when I went up today, Kurt. So you can go buy it right now.
Oh, did it?
For free.
Oh. I can go buy it for $0.
Well, you can buy the co-op for $0 in the first part of the expansion, but the other 4 worlds are paid,
They're not out yet.
and they're not out yet. So.
Alright, so now I have the full kit for adventuring in the Dark World. I have the hammer and the Power Glove to lift up the rocks, and I have the Moon Pearl in the mirror. So that I
If
can
you
walk up
had
the
a
Power Glove.
hammer.
Dark World, without losing all my abilities. So I guess that's kind of cool. It's gonna be a while before I play any more Metroid.
that.
Also, I don't have a sword. There's no guarantee that you're gonna get a sword anytime soon. I have a
Who
hammer.
needs a sword?
But yeah,
I
but
really do
Swords
not
are-
mind one
Sword's a
sword.
crutch.
Now I have the blue tunic, so great. A little tougher.
what else was Mortal Kombat 11 is coming to the Switch.
Bombs. These
That's cool.
reserve tank.
Yeah, there's that. There's what else? New Box Boy.
Oh yeah, new box.
Oh.
Boy.
There's a new
The Box Boy games are good.
Yeah.
beat 'em up game done by Nikki Kamiya and the Nier guys.
Oh yeah, that looked
Yeah.
dope.
Someone said that looked like they started work on a second Revengeance and then were told to pull the plug and decided to just try and make something instead.
I don't know that I necessarily got that vibe. This looks way more anime, which I guess is saying something. Than Revengeance. But, yeah. You know, I watched the full character roster trailer for Jump Force today.
Oh no.
That's some time
You
to
should
go.
go watch some of those cutscenes.
It's like, so first of all, I still hate the look of the game. Like, in a world where Dragon Ball Fighters exists, like, I don't know why the game wouldn't look like that. That's weird to me.
Because that would take a lot more time and effort, probably, is what I'm just guessing based on like the amount of animation and stuff that's in that game.
Maybe, but it's like it's way heavily weighted in favor of like Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Naruto, and then like every other franchise
The
gets
most
like
popular
one or two
anime.
characters.
I've linked something in Discord, Joe, and you should watch it because that's the
Should I?
actual animation of the cutscene. The only thing edited is the
boy.
voiceover.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, that looks real good. Quality animation there.
They finally
Just
made a
going
game
up in an invisible elevator.
Finally made a game that's worse than Sonic 06.
Hey, I got a sword.
Hey, cool.
Off the bomb for no reason. He's got a sword.
That robot
Yeah,
game
nobody-
made by the Armored Core guys looks real good. There's a demo out for that.
Have you tried that, or are you still?
I downloaded it and I played Tetris for 4
Or
hours.
Tetris. Yeah, Tetris is good.
Played 99-player Tetris for 4 hours.
I've been playing it since I got off from work.
Is it better or worse than Prey?
Way better.
I mean, it's Tetris.
Our bombs over there. Right, greatest game ever made. I forgot.
Let me know when they make Prey Battle Royale.
I can't believe this game is just included with the.
Yeah, they're not charging anyone for it, right?
Probably because they don't have any games lined up for the entire year that use the online service.
I mean, true, but that doesn't stop Nintendo from being shitty about how they run their online service in the past.
Literally, the only reason to have the online service right now, other than this, is Smash Bros. And
Right.
that will be
Well,
only-
probably because you signed up for a year of it,
yeah.
because it was only $20, like I did. But as it turns out, it was well worth it because this is the first time in a long time where I have not felt let down by something Nintendo did related to their online service.
I find it so weird. Like, I had that week trial and I dipped into the little, like, play old NES games thing. And I find it really weird how slapdash that interface is. That thing's a big old mess.
Yeah, it's pretty messy.
And, like, the one for the NES Classic is super cool. Like, it's really nice to use and straightforward and it's good. So I don't understand what happened there.
Different people.
Who are you, Ruby Grab?
I
Are
will say
it's the same emulator.
We already knew that like it was a thing, but I'm in for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. That looks like it's fun. I like the first two. They were pretty good.
Yeah, that's the
Crawly
first
Marvel
one.
things.
Pinata monsters, but with superheroes.
Yeah.
Is it a loot game?
Yeah.
It's Diablo with Wolverine.
Yeah, it's Diablo with
Okay.
Wolverine. Which that speaks
make
to
a
me
worse
personally.
pitch.
Yeah, right, exactly. I was also surprised to see Wolverine, although I guess now that Disney is acquiring Fox's
the wall's
business or
coming
whatever,
down.
now it doesn't matter, yeah. But it's like
Everything in and everything else.
you know, the Wisconsin boy in me is a little upset that Raven Software isn't developing it, but you know, it is what it is, I guess.
It's
a weird
sanctuary.
It's actually weird to me that it's called Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 though, because it's
Yeah.
like
It seems like that name might be a little tainted at this point.
yeah, like it's
I don't know,
not being
tainted,
developed
but
by
it's
the
like 15 years since they made one of those.
it hasn't been that long, but it's been a minute, and it's not being developed by Raven Software. It's only Nintendo's publishing it, I think. So it's not being published by EA, who published the first however many. I just don't get why it's called that. Like, why not just call it like
Sell copies.
Avengers Assemble or something? Like, I don't, you know.
To
A little
sell,
more on brand with their recent stuff.
it's to sell, because Nintendo and they sell things based on name brand.
Right, but I'm saying I don't think that brand has a great deal of like the last. Oh no, Mike. So you said 15 years. I think 10 years ago was the last time Marvel Ultimate Alliance game came out. Like the name brand recognition comes from it being a Marvel game, not necessarily from it being Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I mean, I guess it tells you what to expect because it's like, oh, this is going to be a dungeon crawler with Wolverine. But yeah, I don't know. The roster looks pretty dope, which again is one of those things where it was sort of like, what's this gonna look like with Marvel? I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom 4's roster was not great in a lot of ways, and but we've got your movie stars and everything, but you've also got your Wolverine and you've got your Storm and your Venom.
Storm is underused, I feel, in like every aspect of Marvel movies.
Yeah, she has not been put to excellent use in the films, I don't think, generally speaking.
Not that I'm someone who has like super strong feelings about superheroes, but she's real cool. I don't understand why they don't do more with her in the X-Men movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
8 bombs, hell yeah.
I mean, also, most of those movies aren't very good.
I like some of them.
Yeah, no, I like some of them.
The first two were good.
The first one hasn't aged super well. The second one's still pretty good. The third one's real bad.
The third one's real bad.
First Wolverine solo one is real bad.
It is.
But the other 2 Wolverine solo ones are pretty good.
5 rubies. Hey, I don't need to beat Aghanim, so that's good news.
So, yeah.
Because you got 5 rupees?
No, because I would get 5 rupees if I did. There's a couple of items that you can check what they're going to be before you get them, so you can save yourself a bit of wasted time.
They're also, Nintendo's going all in on these special edition games for the NES emulator thing.
Yep.
Now there's 2 Metroid special editions.
Super.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
I guess Super Metroid is not one of them.
Yeah, I was saying no, the regular Metroid. One of the the one starts you with a bunch of gear towards the beginning, or puts you right outside of Kraid's lair, actually, I think. And now the new one puts you like very close to the end, I think, if my memory serves.
Go buy something from the bottle guy.
So, fun fact about the Nintendo emulator in Metroid. If you input the password engage Ridley motherfucker, it crashes the client.
Huh.
I think any password that starts with engage Ridley crashes the game in certain emulators.
So if you do it on the original NES part, it can brick your cartridge because it puts you in a corrupted file that you're not supposed to be in, or like a corrupted room, and the longer you play, the more it corrupts the cartridge.
Wow.
Cool.
And I guess
problematic.
in the emulators, because apparently it does the same thing on the NES Classic, if you do that password, it will just boot you back to the menu because it's like a failsafe to prevent the corruption.
Well, that's good at least. Down here.
God damn it.
But I like how they don't even explain it. It's just like, oh, Metroid stopped working. Why is that?
You can't do that. Oops. Don't try that. Can't do anything until I get the magic powder.
So,
Spear and magic powder.
So, Eric.
Hi, Joe.
You were gonna talk about, or you were gonna play before the Genesis or Genesis isn't stream kind of sputtered out. You were gonna stream some Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 2 mods tonight. Tell me about those? 'Cause I've been curious. I'm playing the game on PS4, so I don't have mod support. But I've heard the first-person mod is interesting.
I played like 10 minutes of it to see if I could get it to work, and then I was like, I'm gonna save this so we can stream it and check it out together. So I can't really comment too much on that, but it worked.
What about the X going?
It basically just locks the perspective, like kind of in front of your head, like where if you're playing as Leon, it kind of locks your perspective about where your flashlight comes out.
Okay.
So yeah, just like it's literally just you download a DLL and some files, and then it just like changes where the camera is in relation to your character. It also appears to make your character's head disappear.
Nice. Maybe they had to do that, or else you'd be seeing it all the time.
Yeah, that might be why, but you don't notice it except when when your character is backlit and there's supposed to be a shadow of your head.
There's no shadow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, I messed around with that, got that working. There is the fixed camera angles thing isn't a real thing that exists. It's just a thing that somebody did to make some videos of it. Because it's something somebody could theoretically do, but there's a lot of spaces in that game that are so darkly lit, like they're designed with you having a flashlight in mind. And so they would have to relight them, or change the light sources, or crank the brightness way up in a way that would be kind of like
I missed that. I didn't realize that you lost your flashlight in the process.
No, you have your flashlight, but there's just rooms that have no light source in them. Your only light source is the flashlight. So in a fixed camera perspective, you would have to find some way to aim your flashlight, which would be super awkward. Also, that game doesn't have any auto aim or anything in it, so.
Well, it does if you die a bunch of times. You have the option to turn the.
Not like Resident Evil classic style auto aim
Yeah,
though,
that's true, right.
where it will snap to where it isn't built to be played from that perspective. But if you there's a bunch of, I forget what the guy's name is, but he posted a bunch of videos, and there are some places where it looks really cool. It's a cool idea, but it would take maybe a prohibitive amount of work to make it a realistic thing that you could actually play. But the first person mod, from what I played of it, does give you gives you time to really appreciate how much detail there is in some of the places. I only saw just that gas station at the very beginning of the game, but
It looked real good.
It looked really good. Yeah, it looked really good. It's really actually. I was just playing. I was just playing Resident Evil 7 in VR. On Sunday. It's all right. It's a little weird, just because it's you're kind of teleporting all over the place, and especially when it cuts the.
You don't walk.
Yeah, you can walk as an option you can turn on, but I don't recommend it. It feels bad.
Right.
Oh, I thought they just fixed the viewing angles to jump. I didn't realize that you actually teleport.
Actually, you can do both things. Yeah.
Yes, you can do both.
I was trying to say, not that you don't walk, but you don't. You turn in fixed width, increments or whatever.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
That game also has a teleport, I think.
But you can also
teleport,
move
controllers if you want. You can turn smooth turning on, but that's the thing that fucks up your inner ear real bad.
Nexus Creed wants to know if we think Disney could make a better Fantastic Four. Well, it'd be hard to make a worse one.
I don't know. I didn't see that. I didn't watch Fantastic Four. I don't know if I care about.
I didn't see the most recent one. I heard it was real bad, but the first two were real bad. What I saw of them. So and the Roger Corman one isn't good either. So
I'm sure Disney could make a competent Fantastic Four movie.
Right. They haven't really. There's only been two of the current Marvel, the MCU movies. There's two of them that I would say are bad.
Are they both Thor movies?
No, one of them is a Thor movie, and one of them is the Incredible Hulk, which is maybe bad is a bit much, but it's not as good. And the rest are even Iron Man 2,
or at least
a lot of people shit on. That's still a watchable.
Iron Man 2 is not great, but
it's competent-ish.
Yeah.
I don't think many of the Marvel movies are actually really good, but yeah, I think that are almost all kind of tolerable.
Yeah, there's only a handful that I would say are really good. I really like Winter Soldier. I really like Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
I think that the third Ragnarok. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok is one of my favorites.
Thor Ragnarok is terrific.
Yeah. I appreciated how weird they got with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. They really went for it in that movie.
Yeah, well, same with Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Canis Mario.
I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Bunch of Rufus. Okay.
Guardians 1 was good. Guardians 2 is a little weirder than Guardians 1.
I'm trying to think of. I can't like. This is where I am in the superhero. Like I don't give a fucking. Actually, I saw that Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie.
Oh, I like that one a lot.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Into
Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, that's not an MCU movie. So.
No, I know,
but it's
and
so
it's
good.
fucking great.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
I will note you would probably
Also, there's a lot
enjoy-
of like '90s hip hop in it, which was fucking.
Yeah, I would say you would probably enjoy Winter Soldier because it's basically a Cold War spy thriller with superheroes slapped on it.
See, why do you got to ruin it by putting superhero stuff in it? That's what
It's
I want to
totally
know.
great.
Yeah, that's what I really like. Camaristico says congratulations on the 5K subs. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good job, Joe.
And
Technically, he says on the 5th subs, which I guess that's also true.
I mean, the first 5 are the hardest, right?
the first 5 are the hardest, yeah. And Onomatopoeification says Guardians 2 had a better emotional core to it. I tend to agree. Also, it had Kurt Russell. So,
It had Kurt Russell with really weird artificial de-aging.
Yeah, that was weird. They should have just gotten Wyatt Russell to do it in those scenes, because he looks just like his dad. It's weird. He sounds just like him, too. Like, if you saw Overlord, which was a very fun movie from this year that was not great, but was super enjoyable, Wyatt Russell, there's some moments where I was like, that is young Kurt Russell. I was like, wait, no, it's not. It's his kid. But man, holy shit.
More super missiles, but I still can't turn into a ball.
So I think this is
a great
why
example
I don't
of
get into
randomizers.
these randomizers. Yeah, like
I mean,
I
it's a
wouldn't
puzzle,
mind.
right? At this point, the goal is.
But
like,
is it a puzzle? It's not a puzzle. It's just like you're just wandering around looking for a thing that you can't find. Like
no,
because
the-
you can't
the puzzle
progress
is that
past that point.
each step of the game you have to evaluate what you have, and then try to decide where to go from there to try and unlock more stuff.
Yeah, I think the only way I would want to try one of these is if somebody gave me a seed and said, "This one's really fun. You'll like this," and then maybe I would be willing to give it a
Yeah.
shot. But it'd have to be vetted first. I think. I don't think I would want to just stumble into one blindly.
You need to go on Fiverr and hire a seed vetter. And
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure there are forums, right, where people do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, for
already,
sure.
right?
yeah, they probably are.
Yeah, and those people are nuts, and they'll give you some bullshit,
No, I'm sure.
just hard as nails thing that you're just like, what the fuck is this?
I'm pretty
No,
sure.
I
most of
guess-
Yeah,
these
it's
people
totally
are-
broken. You're
are
like,
trying to
that's not
convert
what I was
you.
looking for.
Right. They want you to get into it, so they would give you something to do. I think.
Like, I find
Have
this
you
interesting.
have you met ROM hacks?
I find this
Alright.
interesting because people do races of these games, and I think that's one possibility that's really fun between two kind of equally matched players. Is
Yeah,
two
That
people
would be-
trying to figure out what's the best way forward, and you're playing the
Mm-hmm.
odds a little bit because you don't know what you're going to get, but it's like, okay, well, where can I get the most items in the shortest amount of time from where
Yeah.
I am now? And
that kind of stuff is neat.
are there any cool tricks that I can pull to get me to places where I normally wouldn't be able to go?
I don't need to do it myself, but that it exists is cool.
Like last year, I learned how to mockball in Super Metroid, and that's really good because it gets you
Yeah.
into like 3 or 4 items that you wouldn't normally be able to get early in the game.
Did
Plus,
you
it
say
makes
how
you
to
feel-
mock ball?
I'm proud of you, Mike.
Thank you, Coffee. Coffee was. Were you there when
I
I
don't-
did it? I don't remember.
I don't know what that is.
I think you and I were both there when you were trying. Coffee and I were both there when you were trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it's so Joe. When you're in the ball form in Metroid, you can't go very fast. But there's a trick where if you run and jump, if you time it perfectly and you turn into a ball at the second that you hit the ground, you'll maintain your forward momentum, and that lets you get past the shutters that drop down that normally you need the speed booster for. So there's a couple of spots you can. The primary use is to not fight Spore Spawn at all by like going. By just getting super missiles somewhere else using the mock ball and then not having to do that fight in the first place because it's a long fight.
So this is Super Metroid tactic.
Yeah, it's a speedrunner tactic. It's so wall jumping and shine sparking are two of the things that the game teaches you how to do if you pay attention in different sections. Mockballing, I think, is maybe a glitch, but it seems to be one that they might have embraced because you can't brick the game at any point by doing it. I don't think. There's like a variety of glitches and shortcuts in Super Metroid, and the really impressive thing about the game is that they actually seem to have sort of like known about most of them, and like they seem to be actually permitting them to happen a lot of the time. There are a couple that straight up break the game, but not very many.
I'll give you a quick rundown on the mock ball.
Oh, okay. I think
You
Mike
know
just
how to-
did, but
You know how to do Hadouken?
yes.
Then you two can do the mock ball.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever. People told me that, and it was like 8 years before I actually pulled it off.
Okay, now Mike, do it with a keyboard.
Yeah.
It's been a lot, you know. I spent a lot of years playing emulators on the PC using a keyboard. I've done a lot of things and a lot of like I finished all of Mario Lost Levels using the keyboard at one point.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
But I don't think I could do that kind of thing today.
I had a Gravis pad from a pretty early time on, so I didn't do a lot of playing NES games. On
I
the
did too,
keyboard.
but it had a really shitty D-pad. That's the Gravis pad that I used to play Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, there you go. There's not enough buttons on a Gravis pad to play Resident Evil. I guess you'd hotkey some
the
of
one
the
that I
stuff,
had.
I guess.
Okay, silver arrows, great.
The one I had was the OG. I think it was the original Gravis pad. It looked like a Super NES, it looked like a Super Famicom controller, but without shoulder buttons. That was the one that I had.
Oh,
I like how he said it was OG and then changed it to say original.
So I had the version that looked like a PlayStation 1 original.
Because I realized they're all OG at this point.
Yeah,
So.
right.
But there was no start and select, so it had double shoulder buttons. I want to say.
Right. Mine also had no start and select. It was just like the face of a Super Famicom controller without start and select and without shoulder buttons.
And you plugged it into your sound card, kids, because that's how it was.
I don't know. Here's a port. Try that.
Yeah, there's a place to plug something in over here. I mean, theoretically, right now, I guess I could plug a controller into my monitor because there's USB.
I thought you were going to say into my
so-
mind when you started that
Yes.
sentence off.
I mean, there's also that.
Have you guys seen Existence? It's like that. No. I mean, there's
As long as it's like that,
USB
not like
ports on my monitor, so.
Video journal. I'll be alright.
I am seriously running out of ideas at this point. I think I'm gonna have-
Nexus Creed 6 is Legend of Zelda: The Missing Morph Ball.
Yes.
Nice.
Really, what's going on?
It's
here.
the worst, the worst sequel ever.
I think I gotta go to Eastern Palace at this point.
I mean, you're running out of options.
I don't know. I'm running out of stuff that I can think of that I haven't gotten yet. I don't have money to get the Zora flippers, and that's also a pain in the ass. So
Well, you could grind for rupees.
a lot of rupees.
Yeah.
Much faster to find them in chests. Much faster to find them as Samus Aran in places where you were hoping to get a really cool Metroid item. Is what happens a lot. It's probably one or two.
Nothing like Samus being told, "You got a blue rupee. It's worth 5 rupees."
Well, that's what this game is so cool.
And then she just blows the shit out of it.
But,
I also have an arm cannon, motherfucker.
Yeah, I think all the low-hanging fruit has been collected. I can't remember if there's anything down here. It would help if I was better at this game. Oh, that's a dead end. Go to the palace, I guess.
So nose or mouth.
So, please scrub backwards 45 minutes in the stream to see the part where it was also Metroid.
It was one of the most confusing moments on the Nintendo Direct is when they showed that footage of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, and also that game's not very good, and I was like, couldn't figure out why.
Yeah, they were making a big deal out of Dead by Daylight, and I was just sort of like,
Because the kids are into it.
I mean, are they?
I
I have no idea, actually.
Kinda.
That
Some
game
kids
sucks.
are.
Yeah, that game was not very good.
You know it's bad when the four of us can play together on something and I'll be like, no, this is why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I mean, also, I think that it was like for me at least, and maybe for Kurt, it was poisoned by the fact that like I had already played Friday the 13th, which I feel like is a much better execution of the same thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, because you can actually, there are a lot of ways you can get away from Jason, and I feel like in Dead by Daylight, it was just like, how long is it going to take for the killer to kill all of us?
Right. I'm sure someone will say get scrubbed, but
Sure.
whatever.
Right, but you're playing against each other, so it's like if one of
Yeah.
us got good,
It just makes the game worse for everybody
It just
else.
makes it worse, yeah.
Yeah.
And also the randomized maps, I feel like for a game like that, maybe don't work as well as.
Well, the map's only partially randomized, right?
Well, yeah, but in Friday the 13th, so the item drops in Friday the 13th are random, like where the radio is, where the car battery is, the car keys, the boat keys, all that random stuff that you need to get out. That's all randomized, but the map itself is not. The map itself is modeled after an actual location from one of the Friday the 13th movies. Which, you know, I just think.
Well, and there's multiple paths and all that shit. So.
And also, there's a lot of fan servicey stuff that I guess, like with Jason, there's like a whole bunch. Like you can assign 4 different kills to your hotkeys that are like custom for each different Jason. So like some Jason can do certain kills with their weapon, and others can not. And other, you know,
Nitrogen Smash.
That one was
That's
not
the kill
there,
I want.
Sadly.
But are they functionally different, or is this just because it's cool to have different kills?
You get more if you vary your kills, you get more experience.
Okay. I was gonna say this sounds like some developers just being way into the idea.
That is definitely the case.
I mean, yes, also that, but also knowing that their player base well enough to know that the players would be like, oh, if I'm playing as, you know, part 4 Jason, then I get this particular weapon, which means that I can do this particular kill that is like direct from the movie.
Sure, but that's just because it's cool, as opposed to, or is it that some weapons are easier to find, and so you'd want to have a kill that weapon.
Well, Jason comes preloaded with a weapon, right? So like part 6 Jason has like a fence post that he uses in the movie when he comes out of the graveyard, and so like. When you start with that, when you're playing as part 6 Jason with the fence post, then there's certain kills that you get, like you use like a spear, as opposed to the Jasons that have an axe, which you have different custom kills that are axe based.
Magus Zero says, "Oh no, I just missed the live playthrough of Double Dragon 2 for the Genesis. You did not miss much. I will note that.
Very bad.
It is
FYI.
archived,
FYI, it's not great. That was going to be my follow-up. If you really want to go watch it, it will be there.
There were also some streaming issues.
But he is happy to catch us online and tells us to keep it up.
Yep.
Thanks.
We will.
Also that.
No matter how many people protest, we're
keep
gonna
up the search for the missing morph ball.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep playing Tetris apparently forever. I guess I don't know.
Yep.
We'll all be playing Tetris.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So can we do the Game of Your podcast right now?
Oh yeah, I think we probably could.
Resident Evil 2 and Tetris 99.
Nope, Tetris 99 and then Resident Evil 2.
I should download that. I should.
What's
It is kind of annoying though that there's no matchmate, that I can't like get into a round with you guys.
The games are super fast to matchmake, so don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, it is like basically free if you have the online service. So.
Right, yeah, it is free, isn't it?
It's really hard to make complain about anything, really.
Oh, sure.
And
that was not like an actual
here we are on the internet.
I did love the music from what I heard.
So what? Yeah, it's like kind of a weird like mediocre remix of the Tetris music.
Tetris music.
RhinoNar14 says Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on Switch looks cool. I might pick that up when it comes out on the Switch. It might be a day one for him. I'll probably gamefly it just to see how much quality of life improvement stuff is going on there.
Look, if you're gonna put out a 2D Zelda on a modern thing, then I'm there, baby.
Yep.
as long as I don't hear that it's awful or broken in some way, then I'm definitely gonna be picking that up.
I mean, did you play the one? You played the ones on DS and 3DS. Right?
You mean Phantom?
Yeah.
Nexus Creed says the Magic 8 Ball says you will find the morph ball in a police state. Nice callback. Nice. Well done.
Police state or police station?
State.
Okay.
No, police state.
I
thought only Mega Man existed in a police state at this point.
I mean, Mega Man is part of the police state.
I have an Tetris 99 update.
Okay.
I didn't win. I got 3rd place. But I beat out Stoner Boner.
Oh man,
I didn't even know. When do you have time to look at anybody's names? I didn't realize that was a thing.
Final place does the leaderboard.
Oh really? I never even looked at the leaderboard.
And you know
I'm just
how
I'm so busy queuing up for the next fucking match that I don't have time to look at the leaderboard.
You get the shakes already.
Yeah.
It also tells you who you KO'd too.
This could be a real problem, honestly.
So you like it? You do like it better than Tetris Effect? It seems.
I mean,
it's a different thing.
it's competitive, right? So it's just like a totally different experience.
How does it compare to Apex?
Way better.
I like Apex. Honestly, I like Apex a lot, but I mean, this is Tetris, man.
Yeah,
Tetris is the perfect game.
Nobody in our email thread suggested that we play Apex this week, but I feel like I should.
I mean, Coffee and I've been
my-
playing a ton of it, so if you want to play it any night or stream it at any time, then I would
At some
be down
point,
for
I
that.
need to. I have it down. I just haven't played it.
I have to dig
It's
out
good.
my Origin login and password.
It's like weirdly, I think it's actually like kind of more difficult to like grok than like PUBG was, even though it's kind of an easier shooter to play. Because it's like
It's fast. You don't have a lot
the
of time
guns
to
are
think.
weird, and yeah, it moves really fast, and the rounds are faster, and there's
I mean, I
like hero
figured that had
powers
to be
and
the
other
case
weird
because
stuff
the
happening. But
Titanfall movement
Yeah,
in Titanfall
Respawn.
is so good.
Yeah.
I figured that at least would be solid.
so I haven't played much Titanfall. I played like a trial of Titanfall 2. I will say that game definitely moves quite a bit slower than Titanfall does, and there's no like wall running or anything.
Yeah, it
but,
probably has to. Yeah.
I think it's really fun. I won a couple games. I'm not very good at it, but definitely was having fun playing with Coffee and Alex, or even just playing with randos and turning the voice chat off and just like pinging things and kind of like learning to
I did
work
find
within
how to
those
turn the voice
restraints.
chat off.
You just have to, well, you have to mute the voice chat basically. There's no way to like turn it off, which is bad. But
So if you're playing with, if you and Coffee get paired with a rando, you can't turn him off unless you're.
You can
well, you
mute.
just turn the volume all the way down. You don't have to hear what they say.
Like if you want to turn all voice chat off, you have to turn the volume down on
Yeah.
voice chat. But if you want to mute individual people, you can.
Yes, you
do that
can
for
mute
every individual
individuals.
person you come across.
I found
They
it.
can still hear you even if you just turn the volume down.
Probably.
I mean, you push to
Push to
talk and
talk.
just unplug your mic or whatever.
Yeah,
It's push to talk, so they don't have to.
it is push to talk.
Yeah.
So if you guys are talking on Discord, you're not also talking.
No.
to them.
Not unless you want to. I mean, I do sometimes. Like, I'll turn on voice chat until I have a bad experience, and then I'll turn it off.
So you turned on for like 5 minutes. And then...
Well, like, so the game I won the other day was with some people that just wanted to play Apex and like literally did nothing except for talk about the game of Apex. The
Okay.
guys I was playing with, like, that was
That would be
totally
fine.
fine. It's just like, there's a guy over there. Oh, hey, there's a level 3 armor over here. You should come get it. It's like, okay, cool. I'll come get it, and then we don't have to say anything else to each
Right.
other. It's perfect.
That's totally good.
But yeah,
Mag-
I like that game a whole lot. It's just not. It's not Tetris.
Speed booster.
Magus Zero says, "How about maybe try DD Reloaded Alternate? You can find it at Game Jolt."
Yeah, you mentioned that in the comments on one of the earlier videos. I was going to check those out. I don't remember if that's the one that.
Does he
if
work
that's
for
the one that
Game
lets
Jolt?
you play as. I don't know. I don't know if
Sounds-
that's the one that's like the weird ROM hack that lets you play as Hulk Hogan in the Ultimate Warrior or not. But that's I don't know. But
In The Legend of Zelda?
that's the thing I need to.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? No, this Double Dragon. I don't know if it's a ROM hack or an original game or what.
Of course.
The other thing that we didn't talk about the Nintendo Direct, by the way, was that Final Fantasy IX is on the Switch now. 'Cause
Yep.
It's cool. If it was less than $20, I might buy it and play
It's
it. But
Yeah.
$20.
Uh-huh.
yes, it's actually $21. It's $20.99 for
You have
some.
not been paying attention to Square Enix's pre-releases.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember they
Expensive
were
as
doing
hell.
that. They were doing that for a little while, and then like on the virtual, because they were originally not doing virtual console re-releases, so they could charge up a whole shitload of money for everything. And then they did virtual console re-releases, and those were all like normally priced. And now they're back to charging $21 for Final Fantasy IX, I guess.
I don't know why it's $21, but also I'm not. I kind of like Final Fantasy IX. It's all right,
I don't.
but for $21,
Meh.
no thanks. I mean, it's of the Final Fantasies on PlayStation, it's the one I would be most interested in giving another shot to, I think.
Oh man, 8.
Nope, 8 fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I hate everything
It's
about
weird and
8.
Cool.
No, it's weird and bad.
You're wrong.
It's horrible. It has a terrible story. The characters all suck.
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You can play it purely for mechanics if you want. 8's cool. It's so weird.
The mechanics aren't that good either. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I also don't like that.
Send the
one.
teens to destabilize the enemy state run by a sorceress trapped in space.
Uh-huh.
It's so good.
Also, we all knew each other from an orphanage or something, and
also maybe he dies in the middle.
There's not one
like
likable
fever
character
dream
in that whole fucking video game.
And certainly nobody who suplexes a train. So I mean, like,
There's a dog gun.
There's a dog gun. You're right, Coffee. And the card game is real good.
Card game is real good.
And a sword gun. Like, why is there a sword gun? The dog gun actually makes a little bit of sense.
So the sword gun, or is it a gun sword?
It's a sword with a gun on it.
I mean, that's a kind of a metaphysics.
Or is it a gun with a sword on it? This is my point.
What does pulling the trigger in the universe? What does pulling the trigger actually do?
Fire comes out of the gun sword.
Yeah, you shoot the gun sword.
Yeah,
it does extra damage. It does extra damage.
No, but why does it do extra damage?
Because it's a
Fire
gun.
Came out. Dude.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, Joe, I'm gonna hit you with this knife. Now I'm gonna hit you with this knife, and it's on fire. Which one hurt more?
Well, the fire might cauterize the wound, so that might be like an advantage to me.
No, it doesn't cauterize the wound.
But if it cauterize it all at once, it's still gonna hurt more.
What if you're weak to fire?
Like more so than a normal human?
Yes.
I'm very confused by this whole thing.
Sounds like we're gonna have to try this out at Extra Life.
Yeah, stay tuned.
All right,
Mike's gonna learn how to speed run Final Fantasy VIII, so he can do
Oh,
it during the next
Jesus.
voice.
Donate enough money, and we too will light Joe
Yeah,
on
the
fire.
entire stream will just be Final Fantasy VIII.
Parallel
Yeah,
stream.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not actually
Yeah,
coming this year.
if we
I'll
raise
just-
over $1,500 this year, then we'll at $1,000 we'll slash Joe with a knife. At $1,500 we'll slash Joe with a flaming knife.
Alright, sounds good.
The science demands it.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like the PlayStation era was like the weakest era of Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I think everything since PS3 onwards, maybe.
Yeah, I haven't
Is
played.
that
them,
only like
so.
2 games?
Well, I don't.
No,
like
there's a ton of
12
them.
or 13.
There's like
Well, 12 was PS2.
12 is good, better than any of the
Alright,
PlayStation
12 is good.
ones.
12 is very good.
It starts at 12, then I guess.
I mean, 12 is a mess, but there's parts of the mess
But
that I
also
really
real good.
like.
Yeah.
You like messes, but you don't like Final Fantasy VIII. What are you even talking about?
He
I mean,
likes, he likes better messes.
So like sometimes there's a mess. It's like you baked something and there's a mess all over the kitchen, and sometimes it's a mess like your dog ate a bunch of chocolate and then shit its guts out all over the floor and the wall.
These are
And
not
one of
equivalent
those.
messes.
Right, those aren't the same kind of mess.
Yeah, Eric's got a point.
The problem, I mean, so for me, the big problem with 8 is just that one of the main things that I like about RPGs is hanging out with characters that I like, and I don't like any of the characters in it. So, like, there's no point in me. There's nothing in that game for me beyond that. If the characters aren't good, then it's a worthless endeavor.
So weird.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 had that same problem, but I thought 9 was mechanically more enjoyable than 8, at least. But
Yeah, I mean, 9's got Vivi and Freya, and
I
there's
found
some
9 to
stuff
be
in
very
9.
dull and forgettable.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you.
yeah. But 7, I mean, well, we've talked about 7.
I mean, 7's
We need
also
to
a mess.
relitigate 7.
7 is really much more fine than you think it is.
It's okay. I mean, the plot is a mess, and
Now we're
the-
getting on to the time where it's hard for me to remember it again, but I played it, like, I would say...
I played it on PSP not too long ago, and it's
Yeah.
The plot is a mess in that you never actually see Sephiroth until the very end of the game.
Well, the systems are also a mess, though. Like, if you come to those games for the systems, there's not much there either, because the
And
materia system makes everything kind of trivial.
I mean, it's a super easy game. 7's probably the easiest
Yeah.
game in the whole series.
Yeah, I would say maybe.
let me
I
throw
mean,
this
6 is
up.
pretty easy. Also, none of those games are that difficult. I don't know. Are there any
The
hard
original
Final
NES
Fantasies?
Final
Oh, 1 and 2 are hard.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
One
But
is
any of
not
the
like
re-releases are really
excessively
not.
hard, but one is like a product of its era, let's say.
Onomatopoeification says every Final Fantasy is the best and worst Final Fantasy, to borrow a phrase from some person I forgot.
Fair.
Nexus Creed says, would you play a Final Fantasy VI remake? I don't know that there's a need for that.
I mean, did
No, I'm
they
good.
Remake?
they try to remake it. But
Yeah, there's a. Have you ever seen the art style in that remake?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yep.
smear Vaseline over everything and
Yeah.
call it a remake.
I mean, normally you like smear Vaseline all over it, and I'm like, I'm there, but not when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't Bob Mackey write an article for like AV Club about how that was the same as like colorizing old black and white movies? I feel like that was him.
But wasn't the shitty thing too? Was like people found out that it was just a filter over the regular.
Yeah,
game.
it's
No,
a yeah.
I don't think
thought
that's-
so.
I don't
thought
think
it was a
that's
graphical
possible.
overlay on the original game is running underneath that. It's the game.
Oh,
is-
well, maybe it was a graphical overlay, but I don't think it was
Yeah.
just a. It wasn't just
It
like
was
an eagle filter or something.
No.
it was
No.
graphical overlay, and somebody like when it came to PC, they found out you could just remove the overlay and play Final Fantasy VI.
Ah, really?
Yep.
I would consider buying it in that case. Not that I need
So,
to.
Megan just came back with food, so I think I'm gonna call it a night. It's 10 after 11, 11 after 11, and Mike's still looking for this
Never gonna
fucking
find the
ball.
ball.
So, I think I'm good. I think I got all I needed.
Yeah,
This
I know.
was the Legend of Zelda randomizer.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Except that you find super missiles sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
That's
Legend of
what's
Zelda
random about
randomizer, except you find stuff you can't use in some of the chests. So, that's fun.
I'll say, well, I don't know if we're shutting it down or if Joe's just leaving, but I will say either tomorrow or Friday, maybe, I might be streaming some Bloodborne. My internet's good, so.
No, you
Alright.
won't.
The best part of that will be me making my character, because I'm
I'm-
real good at
I'm
making
saying-
characters
I'm
in the
calling it
Dark
right
Souls
now.
games.
I'm interested in this.
You're
Okay.
not going to be streaming that because you're going to be playing Tetris.
Alright, maybe
You don't.
streaming some Tetris 99.
Eric has more self-restraint than you do.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man.
I'm not
is
saying
really-
he has.
This is a
lot.
real good Tetris.
I'm not saying he has a lot. I'm just saying.
I don't
he has
even know where I'm finishing
Copy
anymore.
this.
I'm just queuing back up and playing more Tetris.
So I don't know if we're calling it a night or not, but good night to you guys at least.
Yeah, I will be bugging out as well.
Good night, Joe.
Good night, all the folks.
Good night, gentlemen.
Alright, well, I think I'll stop too. This is actually not my main randomizer game.
Yeah, the one, it sounded like the one you were doing the other night was a lot better than this one.
It definitely was a lot more back and forth, but then I got stuck late in the game for a very long time. But, I mean, overall, yeah, better than the Seed, I think. So far, this has just been exclusively Zelda. Which is fine, but not
I
what I'm
kind
here
of want
for.
to play Super Metroid again.
I mean, you kind of have to memorize the item locations and...
You absolutely have to memorize the item locations if you want to do well in this. That's the name of the game. Yeah, alright, well, anyway, thanks for putting up with this for a while then. Sorry that I didn't find the morph ball.
It's okay. That's authentic to the randomizer experience,
It really
right?
was truly random. It's like when you put on shuffle and you get like 3 songs by the same band in a row, and you're like, well, that is actually random, so...
Yeah, but if they're all like the interstitial songs, they're not real songs, and it's...
That can happen too. Alright, well, folks, we have been on a stick, but now we're not. So, good night, and we'll see you back here
Tetris!
for
Yeah, everyone go
Bloodborne
play
character
Tetris.
creation and Tetris streaming pretty soon. So, keep it
Tetris.
real, folks.